This is Face the Facts with NBC Connecticut.
Welcome back. There are now a handful of confirmed cases in Fairfield County alone, and they are quickly spreading to other parts of the state. So how can you get ready for more? Joining me now via Skype is State Representative Cristin McCarthey Vahey. She's a Democrat from Fairfield on the Government Administration Committee, Planning and Development and Transportation Committee. She's also a social worker by trade and the mother of three. Representative McCarthey Vahey, thanks for joining us on Face the Facts.
Thanks so much for having me today.
This virus is spreading through the southwestern part of the state where you reside. Can people in Fairfield take any steps locally to try to help stop this from spreading right now?
Well, absolutely. I think it's so important that everyone understands that as individuals, besides as a community, we can take important steps to slow the spread and flatten the curve. And it's really listening to what we're hearing from the governor, from our local health departments in terms of staying home when you're sick. And I'm a mom, have you washed your hands? That message is one that moms have been sharing for years, and it's really critical and life-saving now. I think one that's harder for folks is not touching their faces as much. It's something that so many people don't realize they do so often, and behavior change is hard, but we can work together to help make an impact so that our healthcare systems are not overwhelmed.
So we've even seen the state capitol shut down. Committee meetings are basically on hiatus for a little while. So you're leading as an example as well in the state capitol. But how is the state moving forward to try to help people as they have to stay out of work, as far as utility bills, as far as other things? Is the state legislature working on trying to help people financially?
Well, right now, there's a lot of work that's being done with the governor's office, and they've really taken the lead as expected in a case like this. The executive branch is communicating out and working together with the legislative leaders. In terms of utilities, we just got word that residents are not going to be able to have their utilities shut off because they are not able to pay the bills. There's still a number of questions that folks have in terms of public meetings and notices for land use and permitting and all those things. Those are questions that we're able to get through to the Joint Information Command and Communication. And just today, I believe we've heard that folks out in the public are also going to be able to reach out. We also have 211 available for non-medical questions that people have related to coronavirus. So there are a few different resources that we have as a community for people to be able to know what to do and get their questions answered.
Distance learning is another challenge. There are some kids in many cities around Connecticut who do not have internet access. Obviously, it's more and more prevalent than it used to be, but that's a big hurdle when it comes to trying to keep kids out of school 2 weeks, maybe a month in some cases, depending how this moves forward. How can we try to meet that hurdle so kids continue to get their education?
Well, I think we're going to do the best we can. First things first is we have to get this public health crisis under control. And that's what our focus has to be for everyone. So we have to make sure the kids understand that this isn't a vacation from school. This is a time for you to stay home, to be with your family. And you're right, some districts are more able to equitably provide that distance learning and others are not. And that is going to be a major challenge for working families in particular. And it's going to be one where we're going to have to work together as neighbors and communities as best we can. But I think, again, the focus has to be on containing, slowing the spread, flattening the curve, and the pieces around learning, we're going to have to see how this goes. I know here in Fairfield, our schools are closed indefinitely. So we have to see how this evolves and continue to communicate. We're going to do the best we can, and we're going to have to work together.
We've seen the economy basically decimated on Wall Street, but it really is also affecting Main Street as well. Fairfield is where Metro North stops. A lot of people get off there, live there, go to stores, restaurants, bars, hardware stores. Is there anything being done to help local business moving forward, considering they're probably going to see a huge downturn in their receipts for the next quarter?
Absolutely. And this is where all levels of government have to work together, the local, the state, and the federal. Earlier today, I was on a telephone call with Congressman Hines and other constituents from around the 4th Congressional District talking about what monies are available from the federal government for small businesses who are seeing a tremendous impact. And that's the kind of thing, again, where we really are going to have to look to the federal government to be able to provide the level of resources and supports that we need for small businesses, families, folks who aren't able to work. This is going to have an immediate, but also a long-term impact. And we're going to have to work at every level. I know they're working today in the House on some legislation there, and I hope that we can see that come through here to the state so that we can provide the kind of support and relief as much as we're going to be able to here in Connecticut.
Representative Cristin McCarthey Vahey from Fairfield, we appreciate you joining us on Face the Facts this week.
Thanks for having me.